clue. Welcome back this Friday afternoon. Still to come, I'll be taking a peek into your backyards to find out what's been freaking out your fallopias. My next... Some nervous laughter on the front. My next guest has been a regular cast member in some of the most successful British comedies in recent times. Royal Family, 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, that's just my order. Gavin and Stacey and Benidorm are all on her CV. Her next role, though, puts her back in the West End in a stage version of a movie classic.
I'll be the judge in black and white. See, I have not begun to fight. And you'll go much better, and soon all y'all gotta know much better. And I am so much better. I am so much better. I am so much better. I am so much. I am so much better than before.
Please welcome Sheridan Smith. Oh dear. You know, there's more than a little touch of the Reese Witherspoons about you, I feel.
Is he blonde?
Because I used to go through the room with my girls who were watching, you know, that Legally Blonde. It's just an astonishing thing. But this is the musical version. You're previewing now at the Savoy Theatre and you open on the 13th of Jan.
Yes, we started previewing last Saturday. It's going really well. I'm loving it. So much fun.
Now, previews, does lots change in the previews? You obviously buff the edges and hone it up a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, we're still rehearsing through the day, so things keep changing and little tweaks, trial and error. But the show's in great shape. The audience have been fantastic. We've had a real good reaction. So.
Now, am I right, the choreographer's the same guy who did Hairspray?
Yes,
Is that right?
he's the choreographer and the director. He did a Hairspray on Broadway and here, and Legally Blonde on Broadway and here.
So this is a show with energy.
Yes, there's 19 songs and I have 16 costume changes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's full on. But it's great. And it's good, I'm getting in shape. I've stopped smoking, not drinking. It's great.
Good. But it's completely different to going in a television studio and, yes, getting the laugh lines, but more demanding physically, presumably.
It is, but I love theatre because I think you can't beat having the audience reaction like here tonight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's so much more fun, and you can't do millions of takes. You've got to get it right, and the live buzz, I just love it. So you're going to come? Please come.
Of course I will.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to Hairspray. Hairspray is one of those, and it's the same sort of thing that, well, your face aches after a while because you realise you've been smiling for about 2 hours.
No, it's great.
Did you like the film?
I loved the film anyway, with Reese Witherspoon. And then I knew it'd been on Broadway, and I saw the MTV did a big version of it. They showed it. And I was like, oh my God, you've got to get me seen. So I called my agent, and then I went and met all the American producers and the composer. They all came over, which was terrifying. 15 of them on a panel. And I got it. I can't believe it. So
you see, people forget that. They think, oh, once you're on telly and once you're an established star, you get picked and you chosen, you do this part. What happens then? You go in at something like that to do this part with a lot of people, clearly watching.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Well, I got the CD and I kept listening to it over and over and driving everyone mad with my American accent. But yeah, so then you go in and they're all there. I mean, it really is, it's terrifying. My legs were going, the director had to go, just breathe, Sheridan, breathe, because I was really, like, hyperventilating. But it went okay, touch wood, and I got it. So.
Stamina's a great thing, because you've got to do how many performances a week? We've
got to do 8 shows a week, yeah, and I don't really leave the stage for the whole 2.5 hours, unless it's quick change and back on. So, yeah, it's full on, but it's great, and the response from the audience, you know, it pays off, so it's great.
Can you fit the TV comedy in as well? Can you manage to keep both going while you're on there?
Well, not at the moment, I'm not. I'm just wanting to get the show open, because we open officially in January the 13th, and a month of previews first. But then maybe next year I'd like to do some... I've got other things coming on, like Jonathan Creek's on in April and stuff, but yeah, I'm just going to focus on this at the minute. It's so full on.
Now, you're that rare bird in that you didn't go... Not bird, I mean a rare bird in that you didn't go to drama school. You're not trained as an actress. Has that been a help, do you think, or a hindrance to you? I mean, it clearly hasn't stopped you getting on, but has it made life more difficult for you?
Well, I think I kind of learn along the way. I've worked with so many great people that I kind of watch and learn all the time. Like, just working with Adam Davies recently, he's a brilliant detective. He's so good at Jonathan Creek. So I just watch, and there's a knack to doing it. And I think learning along the way is kind of how I've done it. But drama school's great for a lot of people, but, yeah, I'm blagging it.
No, you're not blagging it at all. University of Life and all that. Oh. You know, Alan Davies is one of them. Who are the others that you think that were actually great to watch?
Well, Carolina Hearn's a genius who wrote Royal Family. All the writers, actually, like Darren Etton, who wrote Benidorm, Gavin and and Stacey, which is brilliant, that James and Ruth write. So there's just so many great people. I've been really lucky. I'm really honoured.
Now, talking to Miranda Hart earlier about she writes a sitcom and appears in it as well, and that she says, yes, I am exacting. Carol Ahern presumably was the same sort of thing. You know, where you're working there with the people who've written it as well as performing with them. Does that give it an extra dynamic? They can suddenly stop in the middle of the performance and say, not quite like that, Sheridan.
No, do you know, they were great. It was so nerve-wracking walking onto that set, the Royal Family, because I'd seen the first series and they were all sat there in this little living room. You know, Liz Smith, who's amazing, who plays Nana,
yes.
Ricky Tomlinson, and I was so terrified, but they were great. They really took me under their wing and looked after me.
That was the strangest thing, because when it started, everybody thought, how on earth can you have a comedy which is in this front room and nobody moves, and they're all watching telly at the same time?
It shouldn't work, but it does. It's genius.
But they were a cast of genii as well,
Yes,
weren't they?
absolutely.
I mean, wonderful, not just Carol, but, you know, all the other cast.
Yeah, Sue Johnson, all of them were
Johnson,
just fantastic. It was a real honour to be part of it.
Sue Johnson's one of those wonderful actresses, and I remember Richard Griffiths saying many years ago that he'd been told by Lee Marvin that the best actors are always people you can see what they're thinking.
Yes.
And I think she's one of those.
She really is, yeah.
Different technique on stage, much bigger, much broader.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Legally Blonde has got everything. It's got the comedy, the pathos, singing, dancing, jazz hands. It's just got everything. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot more stamina you've got to have. But it's kind of like doing sitcom. Like, as you know, with studio audience, 2 Pints of Lager's filmed in front of a studio audience. So that's kind of TV, but a bit of theatre as well. So, but it's just great. I'm just absolutely loving it. I can't tell you how exciting it is. And we've got live dogs in the show. We've got real dogs.
Nobody'll be looking at you, Shane. They'll be looking at the dogs.
They are looking at the dogs. The dogs are perfect. They know exactly what they're doing. They've been in training for 2 years.
Bless you.
But they're great. And Duncan James, Peter Davidson, Jill
Duncan
Hopkins.
James looking awfully like Brad Pitt.
And I snog him every night, Alan. It's fantastic.
Yes.
You couldn't get any better.
Not the part for me, but clearly the